Welcome again, everyone, to Ferris Sports Update. I'm your host, Rob Bentley, and thanks for tuning in. On today's show, we'll talk Bulldog football, we'll check in with the Ferris State tennis teams, and we'll touch on some important community service initiatives for the Ferris State Bulldogs. And first up, football with new defensive coordinator Lou Esposito. And Coach, first of all, welcome to the show for the first time.
Thanks. I appreciate you guys having me here.
Bulldogs certainly in the middle of spring football drills right now, and you came on right as spring ball was starting. Talk about the transition for you coming into Ferris State this spring.
I think it's actually been kind of smooth, other than, a little bit being behind the eight ball, a little bit coming in right when spring ball was starting. But the kids are really buying into what we're doing, and really excited about being here, being around a great group of kids, a great group of coaches, excited to what they've built here. Hopefully we can just improve a little bit, get a little bit better for next season.
Talk a little bit about your background. Obviously a collegiate professional player in the Memphis area, moving on to St. Joseph's College as a head coach, and then at Western Michigan. Just tell us a little bit about your background.
I played at the University of Memphis. I was a 4-year starter there, played in the Arena League and the CFL after that. From there, I went to St. Joseph's College as a defensive coordinator, moved up to the head coach there, and then I was at Western Michigan for 3 years as the defensive line coach, recruiting coordinator, assistant head coach. And then I had an opportunity to come here.
As a head coach at St. Joseph's College in the Great Lakes Valley, just talk about how that relates to Ferris State and your experience with the Division II level.
I think I learned a lot of what not to do there, just because I was so young. But being around Division II football and being around kids that still love to play football and are good enough to get some athletic money, I think it was a good learning experience for me. And here I'm a little more familiar with that, as opposed to coming from a place where you weren't able to do that. So I've always been around scholarship football, which is a good thing. And I think once again, I was 25, 26 years old, head coach. I got to make bunch of mistakes and learn from that. And so now hopefully I can help out in that aspect here.
Coming to Ferris State, what enticed you to come to Ferris and be a part of Coach Anise's staff and what the Bulldogs are building here in Big Rapids?
I think there's two things. One, Coach Anise and his staff is, he's a proven winner. Everywhere he's gone, he's won. And I want to be part of winners. And two, the kids are great kids. There's certain kids that love football and don't want to do what it takes. Those are kids that are interested in football. And then there's kids that are committed, that do whatever it takes, however long it takes, whenever it takes to win. And that's what they have here. They got committed kids, and that's because Coach Anise and his staff has done a great job to mold those kids in a certain way, have them thinking, hey, we're always looking forward, always wanting to win, see the big picture. And again, I just want to be a part of a winner, and that's the biggest thing why I came a part here.
Certainly the spring, very important always, and it certainly is for you this spring implementing your system. Just talk about how that's went so far in the process.
It's good. I think when you first start, the biggest thing for us, all we're trying to talk about is effort and turnovers. The scheme stuff is good, but the biggest thing is if you're creating turnovers on defense, you're giving good effort. And if you're giving great effort, you have an opportunity to get turnovers. And as good as our offense is going to be next year, the way I feel anyway, is if we can get them the ball 3 or 4 more times a game, that's automatically going to turn into points. And now all of a sudden, all those close games that you were in that you didn't wind up with W, now you do. And again, for us, if we just play with great effort and we cause turnovers, we're going to be that much better. The scheme stuff will come on its own.
You mentioned the Bulldog offense certainly put up a lot of numbers, a lot of points last fall. Just talk about how that helps your defense competing against an offense like that every day.
It's awesome. I mean, just dealing with some of the scheme stuff that they do and some of the players they have. To me, our running backs are really, really good players. Not knowing the league well enough, I played against a couple teams in the league, Wayne State and Grand Valley, when I was at St. Joseph's College, but not in the last 3 years. What I remember, our skill and our offensive line are just as good as anyone else. And then, you don't know other than watching some film with the quarterbacks, but the 2 quarterbacks that we have are special kids. So again, for us, I keep